All right, so the skating that you're gonna see in this video is the reason that I couldn't skate for a long time. I had pulled my calf muscle, didn't do anything for a month, and then I skated on it, and then it just got bad again. So I had like 1.5 days of skating, and then that just completely ruined it, and then I had to wait like another like 3 weeks or something. I'm still waiting right now, actually. But basically, the whole point of this video is to let you know what you can do if you're in a situation where you are hurt like me. I've had rolled ankles and all sorts of different injuries that I like went to a hospital or I went to a doctor or my primary care doctor and like asked them what to do. And in all honesty, as sort of dumb as it sounds, I felt very like unheard and very ununderstood. You know, you tell them, well, like, this is what I do with skateboarding. The first thing that they think is you're jumping downstairs or like taking in all this impact. They don't realize how like, not delicate, but like in some ways it's more of like a reflective of a dance than it is of like football, where it's like constantly contact and dangerous. In fact, statistically, you're more likely to get injured playing basketball than skateboarding. So I'm gonna talk about how my wait time has been extremely minimized and that whole process, but let's just get to some skating first and then we'll get into what I did. God.
I'm gonna break the rule and all into a back 50-50 on this curb. I knew you were gonna want to stop recording the second I snapped my tail, but...
Yes.
What am I doing? I want to land with 1 foot and then just push. The run-up's a little short, so it's kind of easy to miss because you don't actually start grinding until it's there. Like if you line up with the edge of it, you can still miss. He feels so confident with parking blocks. This pole scares the crap out of me. Like, this gap ain't much, but there's a lot to get tangled in. This guy must have the thickest six-pack ever to have that core strength to yank that many times. Counts. Counts.
Anyways, my buddy Nate Greenwood, he told me about Dr. Kyle Brown. I had seen him on Instagram. This is not a brand deal. This isn't something that he asked me to do. I did ask his permission for me to talk about this, but basically, he's a skateboarder who specializes in like rehab from injuries and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure his field covers all sorts of different things, but go to someone who has an actual understanding of what skateboarding specifically does to your body, not just like on paper, but has actually personally experienced it, is a completely different way to get an understanding of what to do when you're hurt, especially because he's dealt with a lot of these injuries. In fact, my pulled calf muscle is a reoccurring injury that he has dealt with. Put into perspective, he was like watching my movements. He was like, yeah, can you do this for me? And could you put your weight this way? And he was like, oh, so you're regular footed. Like he knew what my stance was based on like the way that my body was laid out, like muscles and stuff. And when I've seen doctors or physical specialists before, and they give me like a routine, it is always very like kind of generic. It seems almost vague or one brushstroke over the whole thing. Whereas what Dr. Kyle Brown gave me is like an entire slew of different stuff to do. As far as like, you want to strengthen this, and like this is your pushing leg. Like he's taking these things into consideration that another doctor would, that a normal doctor or physician would never do. As well as like a big list of things to help with my neck. I did ask him like, hey, like if I'm a skateboarder, what exercises would you recommend in general to strengthen so I can skateboard as long as I can because I'm getting older now? And he helped me out with that. And it was just it was so nice to be able to talk to someone who knew exactly where I was coming from. So I highly recommend you trying to speak to some sort of specialist. I will link Dr. Kyle Brown's information down below. I think he's like able to do Zoom calls and stuff with people over the phone, because as long as you can like tell him what's going on with you and like maybe like do some movements for him, I imagine he'd be able to get a good idea of it. But extreme help. Don't get me wrong, being able to go there in person and like move on the equipment that they have there is obviously ideal, but you definitely want to speak to a specialist who has an understanding of skateboarding. And that is something that seems so obvious, but no one is actually going out of their way to do. Also, super reasonably priced. In fact, just like normal prices. The fact that he happens to be a skateboarder is just like a bonus for us. And of course, he has an Instagram where he's just giving away a bunch of this information for free, just like smaller little snippets of it. But if you want like some real in-depth thing, like how to do like a proper warm-up specifically for skaters, or how to use resistance bands specifically for skaters, like all these things sort of catered to what we do in our bodies. He has a thing, I'm gonna link it down below. It's like a program where they like go through like really in-depth, really good information. So if you can't get the Zoom call, you can still at least do this. And it's not gonna be as expensive as having a one-on-one. But if you have like a specific injury, I suggest doing the one-on-one. But if you want a general understanding of like what to do as a skateboarder, this information is literally priceless. It'll help you out so much, especially if you're getting older or if you have reoccurring injuries. And immediately when I started doing the workouts and exercises that he gave me, I felt my leg getting better to where it's like, I'm so anxious to like skate right now. But when a specialist who skateboards himself gives you a timeline of when you can skate again, you got to listen to him. Like he literally knows both sides of this coin. So I'm still waiting. I got a couple more days to wait till I can skate. By the time this video comes out, it should be even less. And I believe I'm back on posting schedule. So yeah, here's some skating. Actually, I'm gonna get a little street session in outside. It's like damp or whatever, but you go over this little rail into a non-existent bank. So Bev just tried this ride on grind and accidentally unlocked the gate because it has this little thing right here.
I'm gonna move my car just to like try it out.
Oh, you actually want to go over the wall?
Take it.
Yeah. Did I do it?
You did it.
Perfect.
Ah. Get it, boys.
He's a little nervous about doing the ride on grind because look, the brick's broken. I probably wasn't helping by running my board into it over and over again.
Oh, I need wax.
As he grinds like the most chalked up concrete corner. Bev's waxing it up, but there's a skate stopper real quick. Was that?
Yeah.
Is that a nose bonk?
Yeah, switch nose bomb.
That was switch?
That was crazy.
Yeah, he just like keep tightening it.
Yeah.
So this thing was skate stopped, it looks like.
Look, I found the skate stopper right here. I like it.
So it's just like this. Which honestly, I feel like that wouldn't really, I mean, you would still skate it pretty much the same way. You would go over it, but you can open the gate and have it as a straight out rail. But you would just need something to like wedge it against. Oh, please do that. He's trying like a real trick on this thing for, I'm assuming, a video part, but I'm gonna get this nonsense. You also got to worry about this. You can see that he's hitting it. Ah, boneless.
Of course I didn't get that. I feel like color. Oh, it's slippery.